welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Silla.
And I'm Roain.
This is our first video together, and the purpose of this video is purely to share with you our journey with trying to fall pregnant, our IVF pregnancy, our natural pregnancy, and everything else in between. So we decided to finally, I guess, break the ice, like normally say it, and share our story publicly for a number of reasons. The biggest reason as to why we're sharing this publicly with everyone is just so that we can normalize the fact that IVF or any other method, unnatural method of falling pregnant, I guess, is not a big deal. And there are so many women out there who are struggling to fall pregnant, but they're too afraid to do something about it.
Yeah, I guess to also seek the advice of experts. We have a lot of medical developments in the past few decades, and things are much better now, and the procedures are safe, and they have high percentage of success. So I guess we want to kind of not only educate our friends and family, but also everybody else, so that there is some kind of an example of someone who has done it, who has gone through stuff, and a very normal, healthy person still might have issues with getting pregnant.
There are lots of people out there who are really lucky enough to fall pregnant easily and quickly without having to even think about it. But then there are those of us like me who struggle. You know, I love kids, and I never thought that I would be one of those women who would struggle to fall pregnant, but it's very common. And if you have seen my previous post, I have openly told you that I have Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, and so the root cause of me struggling with falling pregnant is my Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. So before I go ahead, I think it's important that we kind of give you a background about us, and go on from there.
We got married in 2013, and I guess we didn't try to conceive for a year and a half, just because I was new. I moved from Canada to Australia, and I was struggling to find a job. So I kept pushing her, you know what, let's wait a bit till we settle down, until I have a job, we have some savings, so we can, you know.
He was a smart one.
So when we kind of decided to be... to start a family, I guess, because when we did get married, I was also studying full-time and working full-time, including weekends, just so I could support us both while he waits for his visa, Australian visa. So there was a lot of stress involved. And then as soon as I finished my degree and I got a full-time job, we were like, okay, you know, like, this is a really good time to start thinking about having a family. Like, you know, what are we waiting for? I think it was about a full year that we kind of were actively trying, and there was nothing happening. So it was almost end of 2015 that we decided to see a gynecologist or a fertility specialist, because, you know, it was like month after month we were waiting for me to miss my period, and it just wouldn't happen. And at this point, my periods were quite regular. I wasn't having any other symptoms that I have polycystic ovaries, other than the fact that I had gained a whole lot of weight. I had gained about 10 kilos within 1 year of our wedding. So that was one of the biggest red flags. Other than that, my periods were normal. I didn't have acne, or some people get a lot of like facial hair growth, and I had a very mild, perhaps facial hair growth, but that's it, like just a few. The doctor recommended that we get an ultrasound and bloods taken. We did that, and then doctor said, you know, it looks like you've got polycystic ovaries, but it's weird because you don't tick every single box for the symptoms. So he still wasn't sure, and that's when we got referred to a fertility specialist. So we also found out that I am insulin resistant. Perhaps the biggest reason as to why I had gained so much weight within 1 year, which is a very short time, really. After that, it took us a couple of months. She prescribed metformin for me to take, and I was on about
3 tablets a day. Metformin made me feel a little bit sick, so I would miss a few days, and I wasn't very religious at taking it. While I took those medications, the doctor also suggested that I take, I think it's called, I've taken notes here on my book. She suggested I take I think it's called hystero something gram, HSG. That's a test where they basically tested my fallopian tubes to make sure that there's no blockage, because even after taking metformin for a couple of months, nothing was happening. So she said, you know, check your tubes. Checked my tubes, everything came back normal, and then we were put on Clomid.
Yeah.
So I don't think you had your tests done.
At that point, I think the focus was most on you, but...
Yeah, because they were like, well, we know it's because of your polycystic ovary, so we'll just focus on you. And then we got prescribed Clomid. Now, Clomid is a drug where, you know, it forces your body to ovulate, because she said it might be because I'm not ovulating. Even though I'm getting my periods, I might not be ovulating, so let's try Clomid. A lot of people do have success on that. I guess we didn't.
I guess the whole point was because majority of the eggs were not
developing.
Yeah, so only one egg supposed to, I think every cycle, one egg grows big enough that it's ready to fertilize. But with her, because there were so many of them, they were competing and maybe in a way.
Yeah, so all those like cysts apparently are like little eggs, something like that. So yeah, they were competing in a way. It wasn't, we weren't getting one solid healthy egg, and which is why ovulation wouldn't occur. So after 2 cycles of Clomid, failed Clomids, we were just running out of patience. Like at that point, I was just like, what is going on? Like, what is wrong with me? You know, it was a real trial. I was really like depressed, perhaps.
Yeah, crying every time you had your period. I'm gonna be ready for this one.
Roain, it also affected him, because at this point we both really badly wanted you know, our own baby. But for Roain it was different, because he was just saddened by the fact that, you know, we weren't falling pregnant. But whereas with me, it was more like I was blaming myself, like something is wrong with me, like why does it have to be me? So I was just blaming myself, like I'm not good enough, or I guess, you know, like what type of a woman am I? I'm not falling pregnant. That's like one thing that women should be able to do. And I guess at that stage, I didn't know much about people struggling to fall pregnant or polycystic ovaries. I hadn't heard of anyone with that problem. My mom herself, she has ovarian cysts, but she never had you know, problems with falling pregnant. So it was very new to me, and I felt alone. I felt like I was the only one with this issue. So yeah, I think that's, you know,
and that's the reason we're doing this, because people are actually very good at hiding the realities of their life. You know how the social media works, and even in our social gatherings, our social networks, people don't discuss these issues openly because of the taboos and issues that, you know, different cultures may have between them.
Yeah.
So I guess we want to kind of...
it's really discouraged. In our community, I guess it's really discouraged to speak about these type of issues. Like, oh, don't say a word because they're going to think something's wrong with you. They're going to say this or they're going to say that. And we wanted to just break that. We wanted to be one of the people who break that cycle and try and kind of bring some sort of a change in our community, at least. That it's okay to talk about these type of issues. You know, if we don't talk about it, no one's going to get educated. No one is going to feel normal. Like polycystic ovarian syndrome apparently is so common. I believe it's 1 in 10 women who have it, yet I had never heard about it. So after Clomid, we decided to also do an IUI. I guess we wanted to try everything before we even give IVF a go. Yeah, we tried IUI, and again we failed the IUI. After we had no luck with Clomid and IUI, I remember that's when they were like, okay, like let's just check Roain as well to see if he's okay. Like, why isn't it working? That's when you also had he had a semen analysis.
Yeah.
And what was the result? The result was, yeah,
It was fine.
It was perfectly fine. They said there's no problems, it's all good. So focus is back on me. After that, I looked into ovarian drilling. Well, my fertility specialist mentioned it, but I guess she wasn't very encouraging of it. At this point, because we had tried everything else other than IVF, I was just like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do ovarian drilling. So what ovarian drilling basically is, it's like a day surgery where they burnt off all of my cysts that I had, active cysts that I had. So they burnt it all off in the hopes that it's not going to come back. Again, I read so much on Google during that time, and I remember everyone was like, oh, you know, after I had ovarian drilling, I fell pregnant, and so I was getting a lot of hope. But again, month after month, it just didn't work. Even the ovarian drilling did not work for us. Now we've tried every single thing there is. And this was, by this point, it was 2017. I guess about a year and a half into dealing with a fertility specialist.
Yeah.
And the specialist said, you know what? I think you should give IVF a try. Our specialist mentioned that maybe we should look into having a healthier lifestyle, like diet changes and exercising and things like that while we're prepping up for IVF. We were having meal preps, and we did this for about a good 2 months at least. We both exercise every single day. I would definitely make sure I walk at least an hour a day, and then do all these like other exercises, dance and aerobics and all of that at home whenever I got to. So I lost about 6 kilos. I was exercising daily. I was eating really healthy, eliminating sugars, bread, you know, sugars and carbs, I guess, the whole carbs. I was trying to eliminate that as much as possible. It wasn't quite keto diet, but it was a low carb diet that I tried. And around April 2017 is when we were booked in, is when basically our IVF process started in April 2017. Maybe I'll make another video where I go through exactly how it works, but mid-April 2017 we had our egg retrieval. So that's when they collected all of our eggs after my body was forced to ovulate through drugs, through a whole heap of drugs and injections. So we were so lucky to have, how many eggs?
19?
Yes,
no more.
21. We retrieved 21 eggs, which is a big number, because I remember that day when I was coming out of that surgery room, there was a woman next to me, and they write down how many eggs you've got on your hand so that when you wake up and you're not sedated anymore, you can see how many you've got. And I had 21 written, and I was thinking, what is this? And then they told me, and then I saw another woman, she only had like 1 egg written on her hand. So that really made me realize that we're going through all of this, but compared to some people, we're still really lucky. I guess we had a lot of eggs. We just needed one of them to grow into a healthy embryo. After that, after our egg retrieval, it took about 2 months. So around end of June, we had our embryo transfer. It was a frozen embryo transfer. And then mid-July, we got our positive pregnancy test.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. Did I surprise you?
Even though we were expecting it, I don't know, it was still a surprise to me, because the way you just told me that and the way you set it up. Yeah.
Oh, now I remember. So I found out because I did a pregnancy test. I found out, and then I wanted to surprise him. I wanted to do something like grand to surprise him, but I just couldn't keep it in. And then I remember we were in our bedroom, and I had set up like a camera somewhere with really bad lights.
Yeah. And you're mad about something.
I was mad at him about something, and then I said to him, if you had a few wishes, something about wishes, what would the wish be? Or I don't know, something along those lines. I just couldn't keep it any longer. I have recorded it. I don't know if I can find it. If I do find it, I'll put it up. Otherwise, but yeah, that's when we got our first positive pregnancy test, and we are really thankful.
Yeah, because even with IVF, it's not 100% guarantee. There is a chance that you may have a miscarriage, or the egg will not attach itself. So there's a chance, and we were lucky enough that it worked on the first try.
On the first try, exactly. Yeah. Because now that we're reading a lot about it, and we're watching like other people's journeys on YouTube, so many people are struggling, you know, and some people have had like 5th and 6th cycles into their embryo transfer. So again, now that I look back at it, I am so thankful and so grateful that we were still one of the lucky ones.
I guess luck is what you make of it. The fact that we at least heard that she was trying to be healthy, was active, she was going to teaching, and then at home she would walk, do activities at home, do exercise at home. Same with me, but mostly her. And that change, that lifestyle change, I guess is one of the issues that a lot of people don't get pregnant, because they stick to the way of doing things. They're eating unhealthy, not a balanced diet, not a very active lifestyle. That leads to higher risk, because it increases all the risk factors to have a failed pregnancy or a miscarriage. So I guess those changes were, I believe, the necessary things that made it easy for us to, I guess,
to be successful in an
IVF. To be lucky in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Even when we were struggling, in the back of our head was like, you know, worst comes to worst, we'd probably just like adopt, or you know.
That was always an option, and I remember at the point where I was blaming myself for, you know, not falling pregnant. I would try and come up with other ways of, well, I really want a family, we really want a family, like that's the one thing I've always wished for, you know, to have my own kid. So, okay, what if I can never fall pregnant? Like, what if, you know? That's always in the back of your mind. It's always a scare. And I always just knew, like, if it doesn't work for us, it doesn't work for us. Maybe that's just not meant to be for us, and, you know, we can always adopt.
I was watching a video of Professor Jordan Peterson. He's a psychiatrist, and he was saying that 1/3 of your life is your marriage, 1/3 of your life is your children, and everything else is the other 1/3, roughly. So, I mean, it's very, very, like, it's valuable when you have a family, when you have a wife, a spouse, and you have children. I guess that kind of gives life a meaning. Some people maybe don't see it that way, but majority of the people, you know, that's how nature has evolved humans to be like. You know, you get married, you get in a partnership, and then you have kids, and you have to raise them. And that gives a lot of meaning to life and purpose. So, but that does not necessarily mean that you have to have your own kids. Like, that's the last option. You can have an adoption, or you can have surrogate mothers, where if you can't put your own embryo in you and you can give birth to a healthy kid, you can have a surrogate mother where someone else gives birth to your kid. But it, I guess, depends on your mindset. If you're open-minded and if you're, you know, progressive in your thinking, then there's always, you know, a way out. It's those people who are very conservative, you know, in a narrow set of, you know, beliefs. It's they who usually suffer because of they can't, you know, move around in life and make choices that sometimes you have to make.
But that was it, really. That was our first IVF journey, story, and we're sharing it so that you know, if you're struggling out there, so that you can also get some hope, I guess, from our story and our experiences. We will definitely be sharing many more videos about our pregnancies down the track, and I really hope that you've learned something from this, or you've gotten some hope out of this. Please do share and like our videos, share our channel with your family and friends who could possibly benefit from just hearing our story, you know, just share it around. You just never know. And do you have anything else to say?
Stick around till the end, then please make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
And
thanks very much for watching. We will see you in our next one. Bye.
Bye.